Was I wearing this shirt yesterday? All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Well, once again, our monthly Tuchel video, or I guess this time it's a stream. Typically, it's a video, but I think there's a lot more to go through than a video would allow me to do. So, yeah, yesterday's result, still processing the loss against the what was her name? I was actually thinking it was Starbucks for a second because people were making jokes that we lost to Starbucks FC. No, Starbrücken. It's actually kind of embarrassing, but I'm not even joking. I actually, the name escaped me for a second there. It's embarrassing. And, I want to show this Twitter thread that I had with a Twitter, what do you call it? Like a Twitter friend, just someone I follow on Twitter. And it was actually so bizarre what I just read, man. All right. And this is like a narrative that's going everywhere. So on Bayern Papa, that's my my Twitter thing that I tweet on. I tweet Bayern stuff, whatever. I roast a bunch of bums, like Openda. Yeah, I came to the conclusion that Openda is a bum. So I roast players like Timo Werner and I sometimes tweet if I'm not live doing a watch along. I tweet during the game. So, I realized this morning, a few hours ago, that Leverkusen demolished the team they played that was from the third division of the Bundesliga. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's important that I look up Leverkusen. And so, they played Sandhausen, another team I've never heard of, and it was 5-2. They won 5-2, a convincing scoreline. Looks like they scored some last-minute goals. But they scored some goals. They won the game. They scored. They got a lot of shots, 74% possession. Yeah, not really important, the possession, but the point is they won by a lot, right? They won by a big margin. And so I tweeted, wait, Leverkusen didn't lose to a team in the third division of German football away from home. Now, it's important to note, Sandhausen is a team that's actually, how do I find this? Yeah, standing. Ah, man, I can't even. Oh, they're playing Saarbrücken next. Let's see who beats who. So they're actually seventh. So they're 7 spots better than Saarbrücken, the team we lost to. And Saarbrücken was in worse form. So my point in tweeting this was to say it must be nice for a team like Leverkusen to go away from home to a third division team that's better than the team we played, dominate them, win the game, creating chance after chance. Must be nice, right? And my man, I like this guy, but this is one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. Must be nice to have at least 2 fit center backs to field in as well, and a fresher squad that can rotate or maybe play your starting striker because he doesn't have a fatigue-related injury. Must be nice. What am I reading, dog? What am I reading? Oh my gosh. So in order for Bayern to beat Saarbrücken, like Leverkusen beat Sandhausen, we need to have 2 fit center backs. First of all, I don't even know how many players in Leverkusen's team would play for us. Florian Wirtz is an obvious name, but Wirtz and Musiala are going to be like Dybala and Messi. 2 players that occupy the same zones and probably can't play at the same time. That's sad. You would love to see them play together, but it's not as easy as it looks. Football is a lot more complicated, and it's 2 players that play the same role. But that's not the point. The point is, how many Leverkusen players start for us? The right back isn't better than our right back. Mazraoui's better. It's Frimpong. And Mazraoui as a footballer is better than Frimpong. Frimpong is just faster. Left back, I forgot his name. The dude from Portugal, yeah. Well, he's not better than Davies, objectively speaking. Grimaldo, yes, I got it. And then their center backs, Jonathan Tah and Tapsoba, are not better than De Ligt and Kim. And let's not create this notion that the reason we lost was because De Ligt got injured. We were already getting cooked before De Ligt went off. Like we were getting, like they looked dangerous. And that's a bad sign. And look, our midfielders are better than their center backs. The team we played, our midfielders, we could have a back line of Kimmich, Goretzka, Leimer, and they would still be better center backs than the center backs Saarbrücken had. And also, we didn't not play Kane. Wait, what? He's saying, or maybe play your starting striker because he doesn't have a fatigue-related injury. Kane was getting rotated. Look, Kane, even if he had an injury, I wouldn't expect Kane to start a game like this. We didn't pay that much money for Kane for him to be playing against Saarbrücken. We paid that kind of money to win the Champions League with him. And you're telling me we need Kane on the field to start a game like this, even though we have Choupo-Moting, who is exceptional in his own right and actually didn't play that bad yesterday, because just the fact that we weren't creating chances is the reason Choupo's performance didn't look that great. Matisse Tell, who should have been playing striker alongside Choupo, ended up playing, at left wing, even though he's a striking talent and scores goals and has been scoring recently. Yet this manager keeps playing him at left wing. Makes no sense. But look at this statement. Look at the standard. We're supposed to have 2 fit center backs. We're supposed to have all these things in order to beat Saarbrücken. In previous years, we cooked this team 7-0. And people laugh on Twitter like, oh, Bayern do it again. Farmers League, even though it's the frickin' Pokal. We should be cooking teams like this. Look, first of all, let me say something very important that I think everyone needs to hear. Yes, it's true that Bayern are every team's biggest game in Germany. True. But for a reason, because we're scary. We should come to stadiums and dominate you. It doesn't matter how bad the pitch is. We have to. It's not because look, there's enough motivation to say we haven't won the Pokal in like 3+ years. So the players should have this natural motivation. That's the motivation they need. That's all they need. They don't need to hear anything else other than we need to win this trophy. And if the manager felt like we needed to qualify, and clearly he wanted it by the fact that he started making substitutions, then he should have set the team up to win. And we aren't a team set up to win games convincingly, as well. That's important to note. We're a team set up to contain and use individual quality to win games. Look, if Tuchel's game plan is actually being coached, it's clearly not getting through to the players. They're not understanding it. If his game plan is something different other than what we've been seeing, then I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's him being incapable of translating his message to the players or whatever, but it's not working the way he thought. Or maybe he's happy with this. He's happy with a nice little 2-1, or was it 3-1 at Galatasaray? I don't know. I forgot the scoreline. We should have lost that game, to be honest. And there's people that were happy about that. See, here's the thing. We are getting lucky. By lucky, I mean Sané is in great form, and our prime tactic is to pass the ball to Sané and fingers crossed. That's our prime tactic. No one can tell me we play in possession. We're like magnificent. We still have the same problems we had under Nagelsmann. We can barely make it out of a press. We always go long because the players, there's only one justification. It's not because they don't have the ability to pass. It's because they're being coached to do certain things. Or if Tuchel's actually, at the training ground, putting patterns out of how to play through presses and, telling Kimmich, do this, if he's coaching and the players aren't listening, I mean, I would still blame the manager because your job is to manage the players and to get them to buy your philosophy. But my concern is that there isn't that much emphasis on learning things like playing out of the press. And those are the most important things for a team like Bayern, because we're allowed to have the ball a lot, because opposition players are terrified that if they lose the ball to us, with our pace and our attacking fluidity, we could easily, run them over with 7 goals. Who knows? So they're terrified. So they just give us the ball and would prefer to defend. And so when we do have the ball and they are applying that second wave of pressure, because they typically don't let their center backs press, we have to have fast buildup and fast, accurate buildup, and we have to have a pattern of it. Arsenal does it. I mean, Spurs do it. How did Postecoglou get Spurs? Look, no one last season thought Spurs were a good team. Everyone thought they're finished. They need this crazy rebuild. They signed like 2 players or 3 players. Basuma came back from injury. All they got was a new manager. They already had Papa Sarr. They already had Basuma. But they had Conte. That's the difference. They had a different manager. They had all these guys. And here's another thing. When Niko Kovac was at Bayern, we complained about build-up play. Because you guys remember the circular shape we had in possession where there was no one in the middle? Flick came in, and like 2 weeks after, we looked like a team with a structure in build-up and out of build-up. That's the thing everyone needs to note here. We actually had a strategy just 2 weeks after Flick came in. Postecoglou has Spurs playing the same style every single game. Doesn't matter the opposition. Against Arsenal, they were playing out of the back, patience in the build-up, not freaking out. The players have been drilled. And Tuchel, I gave him the excuse, you're coming in at a very unfortunate time. They threw you under the bus as well as Nagelsmann. I don't really care. Next season is your season. He had a preseason, and we can say he didn't get his DM. You don't need a DM to play good build-up play against teams like Saarbrücken. If you really think Bayern need a DM to beat teams like Saarbrücken, in fact, I'd be shocked if we started games like this with a DM. This is the kind of game you just play all attackers. You go with a nice little 4-2-4 formation and just play a bunch of young attacking players with all the energy in the world, keep the ball, and beat them convincingly. You don't need a DM defending counters, because you wouldn't expect to be countered by a team that's in the 3rd division of German football. I'm sorry, your standards as a fan must be down the gutter if you think Bayern need a capable lineup to beat a team like Saarbrücken. Our second team has probably been cooking them for years. Bayern 2, Bayern DOS. I don't mean Bayern as well when I say Bayern 2. I mean Bayern, the number 2, our second team, has been cooking these guys, eating their dinner, winning the 3rd division. I don't know if Saarbrücken was in there. Maybe they were in the 4th division at the time. Or I can't understand how people can have their standards so low to the point where they're unable to just say, this is bad and there's a problem. And now, what happens when Tuchel does get his DM in January and we don't play better? What are people going to say? Because you have to implement your philosophy and then worry about the last pieces of the puzzle later. As a manager, that's what you have to do. Jurgen Klopp was playing Jurgen Klopp ball first game at Liverpool, gegenpressing, and then he added the personnel later. Tuchel ball should already be implemented. We should already be playing great football, but conceding a lot of goals because we don't have the stability of a DM. I prefer that. That's what I want. I prefer us play beautiful attacking games, dominant performances where we look really good and exciting to watch. And then when we get a DM, we're like, all right, now not only are we exciting to watch, we can defend and have the balance. And then we have the depth. But we don't play well anyway, right? So I'm wondering, when's the philosophy going to start being implemented? Or Tuchel has never played scintillating football in his career as a manager. He doesn't coach it. He's a manager that likes to be versatile, and he likes to go and approach things game by game, and that's why the players aren't buying it. The players aren't buying Tuchel's strategy, and that's why they don't look motivated for little games like this. Because he's not implementing the same thing and he's clogging their minds with information game by game, with details game by game, instead of telling the players, you're better than this team, play the way you've been playing, and then if something happens in the game, I'll react as a manager and make some changes. That's how managers should work. Pep Guardiola doesn't look at freaking Burnley and go, ooh, it's Burnley. They do this. They attack like this. Nah, he just tells his team, go do what we've worked on for years. And if it doesn't work, I'll know what to do. I'll fix something. I'll change the structure. That's what managers should do. Even Marco Rose came in at Leipzig at a time where they were basically finished. Took them from like 13th to a Champions League spot, a cup win. It's like, because he came in, implemented his philosophy immediately, and then the summer came, lost a bunch of key players, and he started replacing them and adding pieces to the puzzle. That's what you do. You don't complain about what you don't have. You work with what you do have. All I see Tuchel do is complain about how we need a DM. And I agree. I've been saying it for years. Ever since Thiago left, we haven't had a true holding midfielder with the capability of being press resistant. And we still don't. Right. Blame the board for that. But don't act like, oh, you didn't get a freaking Kane. Don't act like we don't have a team capable of beating most of these Bundesliga teams convincingly. Don't act like any of the players on those teams get on our team. Don't act like Flick didn't come in a team that was in transition. I remember everyone using this word, transition. A team that had just been embarrassed by Liverpool, a team that was considered one of the worst Bayern teams in history, with very few transfer changes. Flick came in, implemented an attacking philosophy, a pressing structure, and we went from a team that could barely keep the ball in their Kovac to a team that dominated you. We would set up at the halfway line, like with our slow center back, set up at the halfway line, and just have the ball for as long as we could. And when we lost it, we gegenpress teams. The reason our pressing structure doesn't work as well under Tuchel, and by the way, one of the things I noticed when Tuchel joined was our ball recovery time went down. The difference between Nagelsmann and Tuchel was, the first difference was the ball possession regaining time. So we allowed opponents to have the ball a little bit longer and pass a few more times before we got it, because our press was, and I wouldn't call it a press, our off the ball strategy was to allow the opponent to have it in their third, and look, it wasn't bad, because he was trying to create balance and concede less goals by having more players around the ball in our defensive third. So, by having not mid block, but an aggressive mid block with enough players to cover spaces, it allowed us to defend a little bit better. But I actually prefer pressing high, conceding a few more goals, but scoring a lot more. That's what I prefer. The intensity isn't there. And here's how you know if a problem is a manager's fault or the player's fault. If game by game, if there's no consistent structure game by game, okay, the manager has some questions to answer, right? But if the players have been playing a specific way every game, and then there was one game where they just deviated and suddenly didn't play that way, it's the player's fault, because the manager has been clearly motivating them to play a specific way, and they just didn't play that way and carried out his instructions correctly. So with Bayern right now, I see a problem where we could have a Galatasaray performance where we get cooked and get lucky. That's really what it is. I mean, if Galatasaray, first of all, everyone says one of the hardest stadiums in Europe, in the Champions League, those guys hadn't won a game in their own stadium since 2018. Like freaking Niko Kovac was still at Bayern the last time they won a game in their home stadium in Turkey. So don't act like Galatasaray away from home is like this fortress. It's not, okay? It's just not. It's not like Fort Knox in the U.S. It's not a military base, and it's tough as hell to go there. No, sorry, that's not how it works. It's not like trying to sneak into the Mona Lisa Museum in France. It's not. It's not a hard stadium to play at. Yet we got dominated. They created chances. If they were clinical and had a little bit more cutting edge, they would have won. I'm actually terrified of the game in Munich. I think it's going to be an incredibly tough game. And I think if we don't find a strategy to make them terrified of just touching the ball against us, we're gonna experience some heartbreak in our own state. I really feel like that could be a draw. Manchester United, a team struggling, a team that Man City could have scored like 7 goals or whatever they wanted to do against United. And when we played Man United, the same team, probably even worse because they had some injuries, and Onana was so out of form, we barely won. Like, we needed Matisse Tau to come on and score to make it 4-2, and then United scored a 4-3. If Matisse Tau hadn't scored that goal, it's 3-3 all of a sudden. And that's what I'm talking about. The first goal we scored, it wasn't like some intricate play. Nah, it was Sane taking a shot and Onana fumbling the bag. So, and then the second goal was a penalty. And the third goal, I don't know what the third goal was. I don't know. I don't know. What was the third? I forgot, to be honest, because it was such a forgettable performance. And it's just so annoying. It's irritating. And I can't stand it. And it's not like we were perfect under Nagelsmann. No, I will never accuse Julian Nagelsmann of having a consistent style of play at Bayern, because it'd be a false accusation. Nagelsmann also had us playing inconsistently, and that was my biggest complaint. We didn't know how to play out of the back. But here's the thing with Nagelsmann. At least with him, there wasn't an expectation to win everything. And he was a young manager. With Tuchel, I expect him to already have his philosophy figured out. I expect him, given the fact that he's been at the PSG dressing room, to already have an idea of what he wants to do. And sometimes it feels like we have no idea what we're trying to do. Now, people overhype Tuchel's time at PSG. Let's not forget, this guy had Neymar, Mbappe. Like, they were splashing the cash. He had prime Thiago Silva. Like, Marquinhos was amazing at the time. He really had some players. Hakimi got signed from Dortmund at the height of his time at PSG. PSG were a freaking good team. Like, he had an amazing group of players, and he played in one of the easiest leagues in the top 5. Let's be honest, Ligue 1 ain't that difficult, right? Every time we play French teams, we manage to cook them because there's no competition. The Bundesliga is very high in terms of competitiveness, right? Tuchel's time at Dortmund is best remembered by his cup win in 2017, I believe, right? Where the team with Ousmane Dembele, right? That's an accomplishment, but let's not act like Dortmund were playing some inventive football. It was similar to Klopp, but not the same, So look, Tuchel's there's no doubt in my mind that he has had success. And by the way, I want to say this. Pep fumbled that Champions League. He fumbled it. Pep went into it, overthought the game. And it's funny that I always used to, I have to say this, that I'm crazy, because I used to say Pep underachieved at Bayern because he didn't win the Champions League. I was a spoiled brat. I'll take a nice little Pokal win every year, and I'll take perfect football every single. Look, the thing with Pep was, I want Pep to play like Tuchel in cup games, right? Well, I mean, not like this Tuchel, like Niko Kovac in cup games. Like, that guy, except the Champions League, the DFB Pokal specifically. I want Pep to turn into a terrorist when we play a team that's tough to beat, right? But I want him to play like Pep in every other game. That's what I want. I don't mind a Fugazi win. People think I want pretty football against Man City. No, I wanted us to park the bus away to City. Because, bro, why not, bro? Look, park that bus and try to squeeze out a nice little draw. Come to the Allianz Arena and open up a little bit more, because you're at home. You have the support of your fans. In City, players are not used to loud noise when they play games in their stadium. So it'll be a shocking atmosphere for them. So just do that. That's what I wanted. Tuchel actually did the opposite. He tried to attack City in their own stadium. It's like, come on, dude. You tried to attack City? Like, I don't know. Jeez. And I don't even want to think about the City game. Because, look, the reason we sacked Nagelsmann, you guys remember the statement. Who was it from? It wasn't from Brazo. Okay, it had to have been from Herbert Hainer. He said the treble was in danger. No. It had to have been Oliver Kahn, though. Yeah. He said the treble was in danger. We were on track to beat City. City fans, I remember, were like, they respected us. Like, they really thought, man, Bayern under Nagelsmann. Like, I mean, we weren't even top of the league, but it was the way we beat PSG. Like, we scored one goal and just took the sting out of the game. Yeah, PSG created chances, but it never actually felt like we were ever going to lose at some point or draw. It just felt like we were there. Like, the motivation was there. De Ligt was making goal line clearances. It was our day. And then at the Allianz Arena, PSG fans got confident, like, oh, see, we created chances against you. And we completely dominated 2-0, just won easy and went about our day, right? By the way, we didn't dominate the game, but we didn't let them like do anything crazy and try to cook us, right? Barcelona at home, we got peppered up in the first half, and these were always complaints again about Nagelsmann. We were a second half team. Then the second half we came in and beat them, right? Barcelona away, completely different story. We just went there, dominated them. Inter Milan, both legs, complete domination. I don't even remember them having a big chance. But it's like, I feel like under Tuchel, we would even lose games like that. I don't even have confidence because, man, I don't even know why. Our team's gotten better, but I don't know why I don't have that much confidence in this team. Maybe I just hate our players now. I mean, Gnabry, Goretzka, Leimer, not good enough. Okay, so the question is, do you sack Tuchel after me waffling for like 50 minutes? I don't think we should. I mean, if he loses against Dortmund, I mean, come on. I have a feeling we're going to lose that, to be honest. Like, I can just feel like so Edin Terzic is like the immovable object. No, the unstoppable force. Like, his Fugazi and Juju ball is on a different level. His team is so lucky, man. They always just get 1-0s. So, and they're the only, like, I think they won more games than us. Oh no, actually, I'm lying. I'm capping. Well, but I know Terzic's team, like, they're just hard to beat because, I mean, he just plays like this opposite of good foot. Like, he plays terrorist ball. He's a terrorist, Terzic. And Tuchel is a luck merchant. So it's like unstoppable force meets immovable object. Tuchel gets lucky with his individual moments of brilliance from his players. And actually, whenever players are motivated to the point where they single-handedly win the manager games, that's because the manager is a good man manager. Like, Tuchel's a good man manager, probably, right? He's able to keep the players united. But the problem is, I'm looking at the tactics. He might not be a great tactician. Changes in games, substitutions. There's very few times I go, he actually changed the structure, and that has allowed us more space. No, it never happens. If you look at someone that's a good tactician in game, I look at Marco Rosa. You'll watch Leipzig get cooked for like 45 minutes, second half. He'll tweak a few things. A player drops here instead of there, and they're playing different. It's like he found these little tweaks in his mind because it's a chess game. You might want to take more, maybe you started with this opening and it's not working because your opponent's outmaneuvering you, but then you find this one move, this brilliancy, this one sacrifice, and now you're able to maneuver your pieces to get a checkmate at some point. I think Rosa does that, and Tuchel is not really that great in game. Like, he doesn't make these crazy changes, and I wonder why. I really do. But so, yeah, I wouldn't. If we sack Tuchel, so if he loses against Dortmund, like, yeah, I'll be calling for his head. I'll be saying, sack this boy. Like, sack him now. He's not getting this team to play the way we should be playing, right? I mean, even though I'm saying that now. But if you win against Dortmund, then it's like, you know what? You sack him, it looks crazy, you know? So the game against Dortmund is where I don't think the game, if we lose to Dortmund, that does it. But I think the board's going to be like, didn't we sack Nagelsmann because we were 2 points behind Dortmund and now we just lost to Dortmund? Like, now it's going to be a completely different situation. And by the way, all of this is nonsense because the ultimate decision goes to the board. They're the ones that decide what happens. So let's be honest here. But here's the thing, like, even if you did sack Tuchel, who do you replace him with? Do you go to Hansi Flick? I mean, Hansi would say yes. Hansi loves Bayern. I mean, the people that got him out of Bayern, you know, Brazo, and was Kahn here at the time? I don't know, maybe. They're gone. So Flick, oh yeah, Kahn was here. Because I remember the Amazon documentary. Kahn was here at Bayern because he had joined in early 2021. Yeah. Well, they're no longer here. So Hansi would be comfortable. You know, you have a new face. Christian Fround is a new face. Max Erbel, new face. And I don't know if they're familiar with each other, but they have to have been. Two German guys are right? So, yeah, there's a fair chance that Flick would take the Bayern job because he wants to help his club, even on an interim basis. I think that guy would do it again. Like, Jupp Heynckes, I'm joking. Jupp is let the old man just retire, man. He's probably still capable of doing the job better than all these bums in world football. Now, there's names like Zinedine Zidane, and again, it's foolish for anyone to think we need to be signing Zidane. Zidane needs terrific players in every position to make something happen. And even then, his league record isn't as good as it should have been with the quality of players he had. The reason is Zidane doesn't have a sustained play style because he's a cup manager, really. Like, he's a trophy guy. He wants to win by any means necessary. He's even willing to park the bus and counterattack. And that's fine. That works. And you want to do that in cup games because you want to maximize your chances of winning. But in league games, you need a sustained style of play, right? Newcastle can have a second team out and beat a team like Manchester United with ease. They had their third team out. Like, they really didn't even care about this EFL Cup, but they win because of their play style. So you want that. You want the sustainability of having one style of play. Also, having a sustained style of play improves the players because it gets them knowing this is how I need to do this every game. I need to drop in this space every game, right? And now, when it doesn't work, they know, all right, we need to switch it up, right? So, and as a coach, you got to just realize that. Yeah, man, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens this season, man. Look, when these Tuchel sexuals, when December starts reaching, I want to see where they're at, you know, if they're all screaming for his head. Or because, look, Tuchel does have a fan base in the Bayern fan base. I don't really know why. I think they just like the fact that, you know, he won a Champions League at Chelsea, and they think like, he's this magician of a manager. You know, might be the case, and I just haven't seen it yet. They also reference his time at PSG, and look, so, you know, he has a fan base, and I want to see how they react, you know, if we lose a few more games, because I think the luck is running out. You know, Sané's starting to show vulnerabilities, and so is Kane. Like, teams are so mesmerized by our starting sheet that I think a lot of them just got nervous. But now, you know, players are starting to compose themselves in front of goal. You have teams that are starting to defend really well and believe in their chances on counterattacks. So we're starting to see some change in terms of how teams approach us. They're starting to go, Bayern ain't that scary, right? And when teams say Bayern are beatable, that's not a good sign. And they were right. Even if we beat those teams that say that, there's other teams that still believe it and they show it on the field. So yeah, man, we almost lost to Copenhagen, almost lost to Galatasaray, almost FC, right? Almost. So let's see what happens. I'm curious. But keep Tuchel for the time being, and if that guy does outrageousness, then you got to get rid of him. But I wouldn't be in a super hurry if he beat Dortmund. I just kind of let it play out, because even if we don't win a single big major trophy this season, damn, that'd be crazy. But even if we don't, I mean, he's gonna get sacked. But then we can go back to the drawing board in the summer. I mean, people think next summer is that, bro, it's 6 months away. Like next summer, that's how fast time moves. Like just 6 months, and we're already in the summer of 2024. Time moves fast. So if I was the board, I'd be patient with Tuchel and obviously make it known that we need some better things, right? We need something better. Also, Man United look like they might be sacking Ten Hag. They might be sacking Ten Hag soon, and they said they're linked to Hansi Flick. Don't ruin Hansi Flick, man. What did Philip Lam say? The center of this team is where the complexity is the greatest. Yeah, everyone has seen it. Well, it's funny because I used to get people go, Goretzka and Kimmich. Yeah. Y'all need to start listening to me a little bit more, man. You guys remember? I mean, I think this channel, in terms of like Bayern community, we're the only people that realized we needed a DM. So I got to credit everyone in here, unless you're one of the crazies that thought, oh yeah, we could do a national, and there were people telling me, give Leimer a chance. Like I wasn't watching Leipzig almost every game. I watched Leimer. Like, yo. I actually started watching the show called Gen V. Now it's such a crazy, like, I hate it, but I kind of like it, like it's one of those things. Like there's just so much cursing, it's like so sexual. Like I just skip those parts, but the storyline is actually interesting. So I guess there's a new episode coming out soon, or the finale actually tomorrow. Oh, I can't wait for that. And then Invincible, I can't wait to watch that. Bro, there's so many good shows. I actually just hate The Boys, but it's in the same universe. I hate The Boys, man. I hate the show. I hate it. I can't stand it. We know ball in this chat. Yeah. If Bayern lose to Dortmund, then he's gone. I still think Tuchel's a good coach, but not for Bayern. I knew it wasn't going to work. What do I think about Boateng returning? Oh. You know what? Let the board do it. Let him suffer because clearly they don't believe Boateng did anything wrong when he was beating the brakes off his girl. Like let him die on their Boateng sword. Let him sign Boateng for 5 months. Invincible is great. Yeah, I love Invincible. Wait, is it in the same universe? No. It's not in the same universe as The Boys. I gotta say, Marvel and DC have fallen off. Wait, yo, season 2 comes out tomorrow. Yeah, we're cooking. I'm gonna have 2 good episodes. Yo, what? I can't wait. I loved Invincible. I love finding out about a good show after it comes out. I love because I just love that. After like most of the episodes have already come out. like Ted Lasso. Like I found out about Ted Lasso after like season 1 had finished or something like that, and that allowed me to just go back and rewatch. But man, yeah, Ted Lasso was such an elite show, man. Bro, yo, what are some good shows? I don't like horror shows. I don't like shows about zombies, drug dealers. No, 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 no. I want to watch shows about that raise good questions about morality. Invincible, I mean, it doesn't. I like superhero shows too, so maybe that's my saving grace. Man, Spider-Verse. Yeah, I watched that. Peaky Blinders. That's a drug show, or no? Actually, there's so many good clips from that show. It's like, yeah, maybe I might start watching. Who knows? But it's just I'm not watching Loki. Marvel sucks. All right, well, let's see. Let's see what happens at Bayern. Board didn't. It was Tuchel because he wanted Bella Kotchat. The board screwed up with squad planning, right? And I don't blame Tuchel for that. I blame the board. But I'm blaming Tuchel for the football. Like, that's his job, you know? The board can't make us play any other way, and I expect us to play better with the level of players we have. Endrick scored a brace for Palmeiras. Man. He's already learning a new language. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't. Thank you, Mark. Marvel and DC is bleh now. I agree. I like DC, man. I grew up with Superman as my favorite. Bruh, they suck. They just released these mid wokey shows, man. It's too much for me. There's always like, oh, the new Superman is a chick. It's like, bro, come on, man. The new Superman is black. Yeah, me. All right, just watch a couple foreign shows. They're way better. Nah. Yeah, animation is good for DC. Well, what are you guys looking forward to this Saturday? Oh, shoot, we play Dortmund in 2 days. Oh, my gosh. It seems like so far away, but it's 2 days from now. Away from home as well. That game is going to be interesting. No center backs. Well, I guess the official excuse if we lose the Dortmund game is, but we didn't have any center backs. That's going to be the excuse. Oh, I was on the right track. Dortmund have not lost this season. It's just that they have more draws than us. There's only 2 points separating us, and it's because of draws. Yeah. Well, who does Leipzig play? I'm curious. Because if we beat Dortmund, then Leipzig winning would take them over Dortmund. Who do they play? I'm curious. Actually, it should be more interesting who Leverkusen plays. Is it Hoffenheim away? Yeah, I can sense a victory. I think Bayern, if we played Karabag FK in the Europa League, we would struggle more than Leverkusen did at this rate. Like, Xabi Alonso, man, I watch Leverkusen and I go, there's a plan, there's a manager, and he's letting his team execute it perfectly. I wish that we had that. It must be nice. The only difference between Leverkusen and Bayern is not difference of players, it's just difference of style. Right? I don't know yet if Alonso is a better manager than Tuchel, right? He hasn't done enough. So far, teams are still trying to figure him out. The way Alonso wins over, like, the way I go, yeah, this guy is the real deal, is when, 2 seasons. I think he should stay at Leverkusen for an extra season after this one. Something tells me he's going straight to Madrid after Carlo Ancelotti goes. It's always annoying how, Ancelotti, such a good manager. If Carlo, he's not a complex guy. I think another thing that could be wrong with modern football is systems. Even Pep realized it to the point where his system is a lot more simple now. Maybe it's just, he doesn't experiment anymore with these complex strategies. He just does. Same thing every game, like same idea every game. You know what you're getting from Pep. Whereas like every other manager is trying to like, there's this guy in Brazil doing this weird formation. Just simplicity is key, man. I guess if we're going to talk about names, wouldn't we? I guess the Zerbi is one, but I don't want the Zerbi because I'd rather get Alonso because I know what I'm getting from Alonso. His name value alone, the pull. Come on, it's Xabi Alonso. Man, yo, what if Klopp left Liverpool? Nah, he would never join Bayern. Klopp hates us more than he loves Dortmund. I think he hates Bayern, man. Yeah, I guess my number one option is bring back Flick on an interim basis and see what happens. But my number one choice is to see what happens this Saturday against Dortmund, and if we lose, then yeah, I'll start complaining about Tuchel, man. I'll start complaining, but we got to cook Dortmund. These guys they're talking too much in on Twitter, acting like they're about to win a treble or something. Like, ugh. You need Mr. Ten Hag. This guy's been trolling me, man. He's been trolling me. Moving on, Hulu. Moving on. Okay. What is that? I don't like watching shows unless it's like, nah, I ain't watching that. Jane Fonda, nah, I'm good. He said, moving on. No. I'm not watching that. The streets, the whole hood's not watching. The streets ain't watching that. Got better things to do. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're not cooking with that. Oh, oh, the show is called Moving. Okay. Let's check. Nah, I'm seeing a bunch of Asian people. No offense. Like, I'm not trying to watch no foreign shows. I'm trying to like squeeze my eyeballs, trying to read the subtitles. Not for me, bruh. Sorry. We're gonna get cooked by Dortmund. Watch. You act like Dortmund are that great themselves. They stink. Do you guys actually watch Dortmund? I feel like most of you in here just watch Bayern and like that's your day or that's your weekend. You don't tune into other games. I mean, if you're busy, then that's fair enough. But I actually spend time and I skim through games sometimes. I'll go through a Leipzig game, a 90-minute game in like 20 minutes. It's like a different way of watching highlights. Just pop, next. Just see the key moments, see the moments that could have made something. I'll skim through. Now I'm going to start watching some Stuttgart games. Sebastian Hoeneß looks like he's building a nice little team. Honestly, I thought Stuttgart were finito after they sacked. Who's the old coach? The American, the Italian-American guy. Oh, I forgot his name. Yeah. I thought they were finito, but now they're third in the league. Yo, Stuttgart Stadium has 60,000 people. Wow. Did not know that. The MHP Arena. Wow. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, actually, wait. They beat Union Berlin in the Pokal. That's actually a big win. They lost to Hoffenheim. Yeah, I'm really curious. It looks like Angelo Stiller is handling his business. So, yeah, maybe I might start watching some Stuttgart games. But Leverkusen might replace Leipzig full time because I hate watch. If Poulsen starts another game for Leipzig, I'm not watching their games anymore. I'm gonna move streets to Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, because I'm trying to watch good football. I don't know. I watch Leverkusen in the Europa League because that's the only time they're free. But I watch Bayern, watch some Leipzig games. Yeah, I'll watch. I used to watch. What was the team I used to watch? I think only because I like Marco Rose's style. I like watching Javi Simmons. I found out recently Openda's a bum. I made up my mind. He sucks. He's a real bum, bro. So I don't. I don't like him. Poulsen starting games is wank. Oh, one of the reasons I watched Leipzig was because of Dominic Szoboszlai. So now that he's gone, I'm trying to find that next Szoboszlai, because I like watching good footballers, players to appreciate. I wish Bayern got Szoboszlai. Actually, I don't wish that. I wish we just kept Gravenberch and kept Stanisic, sold Pavard, and had a little bit more depth. Imagine if we had kept Gravenberch, and played him instead of playing Leimer. Life would have been good. Grab him. It's so crazy. Bayern fans are. Look, I mean, I guess every fan base has delusion, but they'll actually downplay what Gravenberch is doing at Liverpool. Gravenberch, in the Europa League this season for Liverpool and across the league, has won the most ground duels, has gotten the most take-ons attempted, and most successful passes into the final third. And come on, man. And I'm just there come on, we could have just been playing this guy. And he had a reason to complain because Bayern bought him as a starter for Ajax and then benched him for bums like an out of form Goretzka and never rotated with him. He didn't start he started maybe one game, and then he played in the DFB Pokal. Actually played really well, didn't get rewarded by playing other games. And then whenever we did have an injury in midfield, Musiala would drop in there, and we would ruin the structure of our attack by moving Musiala out of the attack to play Musiala in midfield so we didn't have to play Gravenberch. It's so weird. These managers are crazy. Tuchel did the same thing. Whatever, man. But I love you guys so much. I appreciate you watching. I missed a super chat. Mr. Pizza Panda. Fans accepting such defeats is the first step to turning into Ushited or something similar. Shitey to Ushited. Wake up, guys. Yeah. We can't accept mediocrity and justify it because that's how we become a trash team. Thoughts on recruiting younger players? Only if it makes sense, and those young players are like Camavinga or Tchouameni, like that, where they play a lot of games and it's very obvious their potential will be fulfilled. Not, they played 5 seconds and now we signed them. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Mia, and peace.